Today I want to talk about a video that I sunk well over 50 hours, maybe even 100 hours into, but never posted. Actually, the better way to define it is it was an experience. It took over my life for an entire week, and I made nothing from it for a lot of reasons that I'll maybe get into later. But the story starts when I got a random DM from somebody who I was like acquaintances with, but I wouldn't consider myself really like close friends. They said, "Hey Rec, can I get on a call with you? I have something I need to tell you." Now I get quite a few DMs like this and I decline most of them, but this guy, I remember he was pretty chill when I talked to him. So I accepted the invite and hopped on the call. What he told me is as follows. "Hey Rec, so you own this server that I play on. Nobody's supposed to tell you that you own it though. Would you like to come in undercover?" If that didn't make a lot of sense to you, that's what it felt like to me. I own a server that I've never heard of. It turns out the guy who told me, he has this group of friends that all played on a Minecraft server, and they like to have a owner of this server. So they all took a vote because they couldn't decide who the owner should be. And as a joke, he threw my name in there. RecRap. What if RecRap was the server owner? I won the vote. More people voted for me to own the server than anybody else. Mind you, I have not spoken or heard of 90% of these people. The story gets even crazier though, because the guy who's presenting this to me, his name is Forcey. He made me an alternate Twitter account, an alternate Discord account, and bought me a Minecraft account so I could go in undercover as the alias Jeremy the Phantom. This name will become important later. I think this idea is hilarious, so of course I say yes, and the server starts a week later. Only 3 out of the 40 or so people on this server know who Jeremy the Phantom actually is. We got Forcey, the guy who introduced me, Ulrich, a comedic genius, and Aeon, the secret agent who will become important later. Day 1 is so surreal. It feels like a scene out of a movie. I'm in a Discord call with like 40 people I have never spoken to before, undercover as Jeremy the Phantom. There were rumors being spread by the people who knew I was actually RecRap that Jeremy was this guy named Jet. So at any opportunity, I tried to send Discord messages like him and give sly hints that I was in fact Jet. The important things happen though when the server starts. You know, day 1 of any server, it's gonna be pretty chaotic, pretty fun. You're getting all your starter gear. I log on and immediately start getting crit out. Now, it's not a server like Lifesteal, so dying actually doesn't really matter, but for what Jeremy the Phantom has planned on this server, he can't be seen dying on his first day. Jeremy the Phantom is supposed to be a PvP legend, so I start booking it out of spawn, and it turns out the guy who's critting me out only did it to Jeremy the Phantom. He wasn't like a menace, and like nobody actually really died the first day. It was only this one guy who wanted to kill Jeremy the Phantom. Thankfully, he has a crappy internet connection, and I managed to slip out unscathed. I get some food, I get some resources, but I'm still alone. I need to make some friends on this server. So I joined a call. They started interrogating me. "Jeremy the Phantom, who are you actually?" And we have some really funny banter back and forth.
What I have a question, Jeremy. Can you fly? Can you flap your wings for us real quick?
That makes sense. His name is Jerry the Phantom.
Okay, hold on. Can you do your best impression of a phantom in the mic?
To be honest, I would respect just no response.
Well, I can only send messages in Minecraft and Discord. Like, it's like I'm actually becoming friends with these people. That's what the first day looked like. Day 2 is where things started ramping up. Thanks to Ulrich, the comedic genius I mentioned earlier, and Aeon, the double agent I mentioned earlier, 2 factions emerged on this server of 40 players. The RecRap faction and the Cube faction. I mentioned that everybody voted RecRap as the owner of this server, but it actually wasn't a clear-cut decision. There was another player named Mr. Cube who was only a few votes behind me. So because of Ulrich and Aeon's social engineering, 2 factions broke out. People who believed RecRap should be the owner of the server and people who believed Mr. Cube should be the owner. I, of course, had to join the RecRap faction, but I wanted to make a good impression. So I was the first person on the server to get fully enchanted diamond armor. And when I came to the meeting grounds of this newly formed RecRap faction, it was so funny. People started flipping out. They're like, "Jeremy the Phantom is stacked out the wazoo! I gave them my spare armor, and it must have made a pretty good impression, because they not only accepted me into the Wreck Rap faction, but nominated me as their leader. What are the chances? Undercover, I become the leader of the Wreck Rap faction, dude. You cannot make this stuff up. I took the role of leader very seriously, putting up an objectives board to make sure everybody was on the same page for building our empire. It worked out super well. We built this nice little community on top of a hill. They built a statue for me, which I did not plan for. Listen, I have self-confidence, but I'm not egotistical, okay? They built the statue. I guess they built a statue for Wreck Rap, so they weren't really building it for Jeremy the Phantom, the leader. But it still felt weird. Down the hill across the river, though, was the Cube faction. They copied us and built a statue of Cube. So, as day 2 progressed and came into the evening, I planned a secret attack on the Cube faction. We were going to vandalize their statue. It wasn't anything crazy, just a whole bunch of really funny and dumb puns. You know, everybody on the server was a bunch of friends, really close friends, which I came to realize. But it was so much fun to just leave these stupid signs everywhere over this dumb little factions war. Like, we stole their staircase just as a joke to antagonize them. Now, at this point, the Cube faction has started kicking it into high gear. How do I know this? Well, you remember Aeon, the double agent I mentioned earlier, one of 3 people who knew I was Jeremy the Phantom. He was giving us intel on the Cube faction. Not only that, but I kid you not, underneath the Cube statue, me, Aeon, Ulrich, and Forsey, the only people who knew who Jeremy the Phantom actually was, made a secret meeting room under the enemy statue, and we met there every single day, IRL, multiple times a day, to plan out everything. And to make it more fun, we decided we wouldn't communicate via Discord. We had to meet underneath the statue to talk about anything, to talk about intel, what we were going to do on the server. It made it so much fun, and we had so many close calls. There was this one member on the server. Her name was Ember. She, tailed one of us under the statue, but didn't quite see us enter, and so she was wandering around above our around the statue as we were having our meeting underneath. We started flipping out, so one person made a diversion, and the rest of us snuck out the back end of the statue, literally behind the back of this player who was searching for us. It was after this close call that the Cube faction caught on that Aeon was actually a double agent and giving intel to the Wreck Rap faction, so he got kicked out and needed refuge. In one of our underground meetings, we came up with a plan. See, I actually knew 2 people who were on this server. Their names were Mid-Mystic and Mr. Cube, the person who was in charge of the other faction. They both played on another server called Lifesteal that I was on, but they didn't know I was Jeremy the Phantom. So we thought, wouldn't it be really funny if we lived inside one of their bases? This would give us access to resources, but also keep Aeon safe, because he'd just been outed as a double agent. This was perhaps my favorite moment of the entire experience. We literally found Mid's base, which was at almost bedrock. It was one of those villager trading halls where you'd have a whole bunch of villagers, and we dug behind her trading hall and just poked holes into her villagers. So we literally just used her trading hall on the other side of the wall. I installed secret piston doors onto the side, and we literally lived in the walls of her base while she was living there. I traded with her villagers as she was trading with her villagers. Actually, there was one instance where we just straight out stole one of the villagers from her trading hall, because it was literally just the wall that we were sharing. It was so funny too, because we did it as they were curing villagers to get cheaper trades, right? You cure a villager, you basically kill it with a zombie, and then you revive it with some potions, and then it gives you cheaper trades. We stole a villager during this trading process, and then the next minute, we see some messages in chat saying can villagers just die while being cured? Which is true, they can die. So we said, yeah, the villager probably just died, and he believed that a villager died while curing. In reality, it was Wreck Rap, undercover as Jeremy the Phantom, in the walls of his base, stealing a villager. That idea is just so funny to me. It is one of the most cherished Minecraft memories I have. But we are only just getting started on this adventure. Tensions are rising between the RecRap and the Cube factions. Little pranks are happening, slowly escalating. There was an entire court case that lasted like 2 hours. I got called to the stand and just had to like type stuff in Minecraft chat, and I just said completely irrelevant things, you know, because I was trying to help my defendant. The point is, things were getting out of hand, and we needed a place where this would end. Some final event that would finally settle this dispute. So the two sides came together and agreed there would be a boxing match to decide who the true owner of the server is. So we got to work building an arena. The plan was to build it in the end, but we hadn't beaten the end together, so the server actually came together really wholesomely. Everybody together, we chatted, we laughed, and the whole time all I was doing was typing in chat. But I was really starting to become friends with these people. I was beginning to realize, like, this is what Minecraft is about. It's about hanging out with your friends and having a good time, just killing the Ender Dragon. It's also really fun to have a boxing match though. So we started building this massive arena in the center of the end. I got myself an elytra, we got some better gear, but the days were coming to a close and people started hyping up this boxing match. Someone took an entire afternoon to design a poster for the match. Less than 24 hours before the boxing match, though, disaster. A conglomerate of 5 or 6 people had come together to try and figure out who Jeremy the Phantom was. It'd been almost a week by this point, and nobody knew who I was. But they were getting close, analyzing everything. As Jeremy the Phantom, I'd made a YouTube account and a couple of videos, just for fun. You know, it was a server for people making videos. Jeremy the Phantom couldn't be left out. But in those videos, my hotbar is shown. What's bad about that is me, RecRap2, Parker. I have a very unique hotbar. I keep my water on the second slot, something almost nobody does. They were starting to cross-reference everything. Me, Ulrich, 4C, Aeon, we were freaking out, thinking these guys were gonna catch on and figure out it was me the entire time. One look at the hotbar and I would be outed, so we had to come up with a plan, and fast. Something to throw them off. So, a mutual friend of mine and many of the people on the server was Mr. Prince Zam. I explained the whole gist to him and said, I'm gonna try to pin Jeremy the Phantom on you. I need people to believe you are Jeremy the Phantom. Thankfully, he was in, so I got a soundbite of him, a voice recording, and put it on a soundboard. The going plan was to, quote-unquote, accidentally unmute in a Discord call and play Zam on the soundboard so that everybody would think Jeremy the Phantom is Prince Zam. And it totally worked. I played the soundbite, unmuted, and Mystics freaked out. She started swearing she could not believe that Jeremy the Phantom had been Prince Zam this entire time. I didn't give her any confirmation though. I stayed out of that call and left it a mystery. I left it for rumors to be spread amongst the server, and boy did they spread. Nobody believed Jeremy the Phantom was actually me. The plan was going perfect. I even posted another video on the Jeremy the Phantom account and photoshopped my hotbar to look differently. So even if people cross-reference, they wouldn't tell it's me. Then, only a little bit before the fight, I was reminded of just how good of friends everybody on this server was. They hosted a surprise birthday party for 2 people in Minecraft. We stayed up till 12 a.m. that night singing karaoke, something I almost never do, but I was having the time of my life. I've always been curious how people would treat me if they didn't know I was RecRap, especially in this sort of context with Minecraft YouTubers. I've brushed up with a couple of these people, and lots of the times it's like, wow, RecRap, I'm such a fan of your videos. Like, imagine becoming friends with a YouTuber that you watch all the time. Like, they don't really know you, so it's a strange place to begin a friendship from. But being Jeremy the Phantom, totally anonymous, it was so refreshing to just become friends with people. They didn't treat me any differently, and I was able to just have so many jokes with them. The birthday celebration, the karaoke, it was over though. It was time for the boxing match. Something I totally forgot to mention is that I should have mentioned this earlier. Maybe it was obvious, but I got nominated by the RecRap faction to represent RecRap in the RecRap vs. Mr. Q boxing match. So if there wasn't pressure in your mind, there was definitely pressure in this moment. We had a couple like prelude matches leading up to the main event to decide who actually owned this server. I sat in my chair anxiously awaiting the moment, cheering on all the other fights in text, but it had finally come. It was best 2 out of 3 or something. Whoever won was the true owner of the server. Not only that, but after the matches, this was when I was gonna reveal Jeremy the Phantom was me, RecRap Parker. I cannot explain why, but my hands were shaking so much. I mean, I guess I can't explain. I was nervous. But the first match went by, and I won at half health. The second match, I won. The third match, I won. But I was getting even more nervous. I was about to reveal myself. The last match, I won. And it was time to tell these people who I befriended over the past week that I was the YouTuber RecRap, the person they voted as owner on their server.
Hey guys, it's me.
Afterwards, everyone gathered at the Town Hall 4C had built at Spawn. We sang karaoke, shared stories, our close calls of almost getting caught, what was happening between the different factions. It was a beautiful night. You don't get these experiences with your friends every day. Lots of the people on this server I rarely talk to. We're just on different paths in life. But the time we spent together, that's something to be remembered.
Singing will happen, happening, happen. Will happen, happening, happen. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then.
Oh my god. Hey, Mid, no, you were part of it. Can we show you something, Mid?
Oh yeah,
Follow me, follow me. Everybody, follow.
Wait, why are we just going to Mid's base? You'll see.
Oh, you'll see.
Wait, why are we going to my base?
No way.
I don't believe it.
Hey, Mid,
I don't believe you lived in my base.
So you know how there's a redstone torch over here?
Yeah.
And, like, what happens
Look at your
if you,
portal.
like, I just put the redstone torch there and, like,
No.
a door kind of opens up behind here.
Welcome to our base.
So Mid, this is my trading hall right down here. And then up here is our meeting room. And
You have a meeting room! Dude, if I just went in the replay mod, I
You and I will always be back then. That's why you and I will always be best friends.